Hello and welcome to this video. This is the beginning of section 3 of our course, and the topic is Understanding Infrastructure Security Part 2. In the first part of this topic, which was the section 2, we talked about compute and AWS managed services that help with infrastructure security. Now in the part 2 of this topic, we are discussing about network and how to isolate and enable connectivity within different accounts using different VPCs. So we will start by discussing what is a VPC. And this is a really fundamental topic and a fundamental type of resource in AWS that you need to understand. This is also one of the key things to understand about network in AWS and to pass this certification course. You might have already seen this content in previous AWS courses, especially on the associate level, because it's one of these fundamental things. And you might be using this, but I want us to make a quick recap with you about this because this is so important to understand for the entire section and for the entire certification course. So a VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud, and you can see it as a network namespace or a network perimeter for your resources. As you know, in AWS, network are not entirely physical, meaning that, of course, infrastructure that AWS has as a network physical infrastructure, but to you as a customer, you use a software-defined net, meaning that you create the networks that you need and you destroy them also via API calls or via the console or the CLI. So a VPC is, you can picture as a network namespace for all your networks that you are creating. Is a way to establish a perimeter around that. Now, a couple of limitations that you need to understand. A VPC can only be associated with one AWS region. So I'm going to use these networks in Ireland. The VPC will only be available in Ireland, EU West 1. A VPC has one or more subnets within, and those subnets can be either private or public, and a subnet can only be associated with one availability zone within the same VPC region. So this might sound a bit confusing, these restrictions. Let's see it as a diagram. So in your AWS space, you have multiple regions, right? For instance, Ireland, EU West 1, or it could be US East 1, or any other available region. So within a region, you can create one or more VPCs, but that VPC only exists on that region. So in this case, let's say that I'm going to use EU West 1, and I'm going to create a VPC called my VPC. So as you know, in each region in AWS, there is at least two or more availability zones, which you can picture as independent data centers. So let's say that I'm using EU West 1. I created a VPC called my VPC that is available for the entire region. And then I want to create two subnets. And as you know, a subnet can only be associated with one specific availability zone. So in this case, since I want two subnets and I want to have some high availability, I am creating one subnet in the AZ1 and a second subnet in the AZ2. Now, both of those subnets belong to the VPC, and it means that they can communicate within, but they cannot communicate outside except an outgoing connectivity like an internet connectivity that we will discuss along in this section. Now, those subnets can host, as you know, multiple resources like EC2 instances. So an EC2 instance needs to belong to a subnet. And so we have my instance A that is on the my subnet 1, which is on the availability zone 1, and then you have another instance B on the subnet 2 in the availability zone 2. So those instances can communicate within, and there is this isolation. So the VPC serves as kind of a perimeter around that. You can have one or more subnets. Subnets can be either public or private. We will discuss about that along the course, but on a nutshell, these are the restrictions that you need to understand. Of course, you can have multiple VPCs inside the same region. That is not a problem, but they will not, if you have multiple VPCs within the same region, it doesn't mean that they will automatically be communicating with each other. For that, you need something like VPC peering that we will also discuss. Now, one important part within the same VPC, how do you control the outbound and incoming network connections? And it's important for you to understand the concept of knuckles or network ACLs and security groups. And they serve almost the same purpose, but they have very distinct capabilities. And it's important to understand both of them. So a network ACL or knuckle, it's something that you apply to the entire subnet. So in the My Subnet 1, you will have a network ACL. You can picture as a kind of a firewall, and that network ACL, you will define what are you allowing as an incoming network connectivity or outgoing network connectivity. While a security group is something that you apply to a specific instance. So you can create a security group saying that, well, in this security group, I'm allowing incoming connections on port 80, and I'm applying this to my instance A. Of course, then you can use the same exact security group and apply to my instance B or C or D, how many you have. But they are applied at an instance level and not on the entire subnet level. So in a nutshell, this was what really important for you to understand. These are fundamental concepts, VPCs and the limitations within the VPCs, and also the capabilities of the VPC, and knuckles versus security groups, and understanding what applies to what.